Hello, Leon. It's your Zayde, Mason. I'm here today to read you, or to continue reading to you, the ABCs of engineering. This is what we're going to read today. And last we left off at the letter N, which I believe was for nanotube. That was a carbon nanotube. But today we are going to continue on from the letter O. So today we will begin with O, and O is for ohm. Ohm, ohm. No, not that kind of ohm. In this case, ohm means resistance. It is the unit of measure for electrical resistance. It's called an ohm. And that's when electrons are going from one side of the resistor to another, or something that acts as a resistor, which is almost everything. And some of the electrons get absorbed by the resistor and generate heat and just get sloughed off as heat in infrared photons, or it just gets absorbed. Believe it or not, when we talk about imaginary numbers, this actually comes into play, but you'll learn about that another time, and we can talk about imaginary numbers and how they deal with real life circumstances such as resistance. Anyway, and we talked about, previously we talked about reflections and refractions and diffractions of photons as they pass from one medium to another. In this case, we're not changing media, we're going through some wire or some piece of electrical circuit, and the electrons hit the resistor. And the purpose of the resistor, its design, is to reduce the potential from one side to the other, to change the voltage. And some of your uncles and your other grandfather, Grandpa Carlo can all explain this to you. I think most of your family can talk about this with you. But anyway, that's an ohm. An ohm is the unit of measure of how much resistance is in that. They slow down or control the flow of electric currents. Many appliances around the house are resistors, such as light bulbs, stovetops, and heaters. And again, they absorb the electrons and re-emit them as photons in electricity, and that is what a resistor does. But a light bulb is also a resistor. It just provides more light instead of electricity. 1 ohm is denoted as 1 ohm, that symbol, which is an omega in Greek. An ohm can be measured using a multimeter. And I think we talked about multimeters earlier. We did, see, multimeters, and you use those to measure resistance as one thing, and you can get ohms. Okay, we're done with ohms. We're going to move on to P is for pipettes. See, this is a pipette, and it is a lab tool that helps measure the volume of a liquid. So it helps you pick up liquids using a sort of hydraulic motion, when we've talked about hydraulics, by creating a vacuum, a small amount of vacuum, and then when you release the bulb, the rubber bulb, the vacuum pulls liquid into it, and you can release, by pushing the bulb again, measured amounts of liquid into trays or anything else. Pipettes are often used by biological and chemical engineers to move small amounts of liquids. Most pipettes do this by creating a vacuum, as mentioned, inside the tube that can draw up the liquid. Pipettes can measure amounts as small as 1/100th of a drop of water. That's teeny tiny. Teeny tiny amounts of water, or whatever chemical you want to put into a dish or other measuring containers. So that's what a pipette is for. P is for pipette. Q is for QR code. I don't know why that's in here. Is that really so scientific? I guess it is, but I thought that's more for computers. A QR code is a two-dimensional barcode. You will see these and get used to them. QR means quick response. These codes are a great way for engineers to quickly pass information around to each other. I don't know any engineers who do that. I guess you could. I've never used it for passing information other. And I believe if you scan this here QR code, you will find that it is just an advertisement for this here book. So I think that's a little silly. And we will continue on. I don't need to describe it too much. R is for requirements. Now this is interesting because in and of itself, it isn't scientific, but requirements in what we call systems engineering, and I've done a lot of systems engineering in my life, engineering projects need requirements to make sure everything works correctly. So we set out goals for ourselves as engineers, and we identify what we need and how much we need of it, and what the rules are about how we need it. And the requirements give us all of that information, and it tells us what about whatever it is we're doing that we need to meet. Those are the requirements that we must meet in order for it to function the way we need it to. In this case, it shows the ABC of Engineers book project, which is this. The stakeholders are all the kids, of which you are one. And the task force is Sarah and Chris. Well, in this case, it's Chris Ferrie, and Dr. Sarah Kaiser, who work together. The requirements are the book must contain every letter of the alphabet, and certainly it does, but we haven't gotten to all of them. The book must cover many branches of engineering. It looks like it's doing that. And the book must be awesome. Well, I will leave it to you and me to decide that together. So that is what requirements are for. And this is done with multiple engineers working together in teams, and that helps them know exactly how to measure when their part is done. Now, I know I've only gotten through a few letters here, but I'm going to stop because we've already gotten to almost 6.5 minutes. So we're going to stop at R is for requirements, and we will continue on next time. I love you very much, Leon. I hope you've enjoyed these few letters of the ABCs of Engineering, and I will continue on again soon with another set of letters, beginning with the letter S. And just as a preview, we stopped at R is for requirements. Next one will be S is for screw, but we will talk about screws another time. I love you, and I will talk with you soon. This is your Zayde Mason, signing out.